It did. I mean, the speaker didn't disappoint because for one reason or the other, you could get a tone that he feels that his circle is being intruded, his space is not being recognized by the executive and the judiciary. He thought that the three arms of government and the independence of parliament was being attacked, and he thought that, well, I cannot have any of that. So yesterday he made some bold statements. You know that the LGBTQI bill,
that's right,
which was passed, right?
Yeah.
It's awaiting presidential assent, but there's a matter in court.
Yeah.
And the president's executive secretary at the time said that, look, don't transmit it to us yet because we want to finish the case. Yesterday he says, transmit it. Even though the matter is in court, send it to them. Because if I'm extending courtesies to you and I'm not getting the same courtesies, transmit it. You know, he has had cause to say that he is number 3.
That's right.
In the country to Osei Sabosu, because he also had come with some government business and you know, on behalf of the executive, and he was trying to push it through and say, no, sit down, I'm number 3. What is your number in this country? You know, so it clearly gives.
But Johnny, what do you make of this when he says that the executive and the judiciary appear to be colluding? Is that bold or is that inflammatory?
Well, you know, the House of Parliament is supposed to be independent like the judiciary. Professor Raymond Atugoba asked a question the other time that the executive checks the legislature and the legislature checks the executive. Who checks the judiciary? He asked that question at the time when Justice Sophia Kufu, her ladyship was CJ. That question remains unanswered at this point. And the whole concept of the three arms of government is for us to have checks and balances. So if it does appear that one arm of the three arms of government seems to be untouchable, so to speak, like the speaker suggested yesterday, there's a problem. And if Parliament, for example, the privileges, qualified privileges and absolute privileges that members of Parliament have, that the Speaker enjoys and all of that seems to be, I don't know how to explain this, but I want to be very careful.
Absolutely.
But if it seems to be under attack, for want of a better expression, then there's a problem.
We'll certainly be getting into all of those, and we'll be giving you a playback of what the speaker had to say yesterday. And you too can get involved in the conversation. Do be sure to give us a follow on the socials. The hashtag we're using this morning, it is 3FM Sunrise. In fact, we'll put a poll up on our social media handles and test the pulse and see what you made of what the speaker had to say yesterday. Do you think it was right timing? And also, Johnny, just before we go on that break, it's coming up in a minute, there has to be finality. Somebody has to have the last word, and everybody seems to want to have the last word. Is it not fair that we just say the Supreme Court should have that, so we just final?
You know, the Supreme Court's ruling on the matter has been criticized by persons who are also interested in the Sandro Kofi Akpafo-Likpen lobby. Professor Kwasari has been saying that, look, it is the biggest, if you like, scar on the Fourth Republic, right? Franklin Kujo says it's a gangster system. Professor Ransford Jampu says, look, if you are a concerned Ghanaian, you should be worried that the Supreme Court is interested in 4 MPs 2 months away from the election.
Even less.
Whose people will not have a representation, and the same court is not as worried as they are in this matter for people who for 4 years had no representation. Because if I remember very well, Franklin Kujo has stated somewhere that when they took the Santo Kofi Akpafo-Likpen matter to the court, they took it to the Supreme Court. They were made to come back to the High Court and start the processes.
Yes.
But this one was given expedited sitting and hearing. And they are wondering, okay, so now that has come to, take center stage in the conversation.
That is true.
That people are asking, okay, so what was it then? Back in the day, Speaker Kwe had to make a certain ruling from Parliament. Nobody had problems with it.
Now they say they have problems, or they had, but they didn't speak up.
Yeah, but he declared seats vacant.
That's right.
Right? And the courts didn't get involved. Nobody took it into the court.
They allowed Parliament to do its thing, do its work.
That's the independence that Speaker Bagbin is trying to keep.
That's right.
And he made it clear, abundantly clear. Now, you get lawyers from the side of the NPP saying to us that, it was wrong, then let's forgive ourselves and move on. But there's precedence. What is the precedence? Because now you have a tighter parliament where it's almost like a hung parliament. Aside Andre Siama, who was doing business with their side of the majority in parliament, which gave them the majority. They had 137, plus Andre Siama on the side of the NPP.
That's right.
Or majority. That makes it majority, 138. If now you're going to lose 3 from the side of the NPP and 1 from the side of the NDC, then the NDC becomes the majority. That's what literally is being fought. Nothing
Parliament
more,
reconvenes today, am I right?
Nothing more, nothing less.
Okay.
That's what is being fought. That's what this haggle and hustle is all about.
Johnny, let me take your prediction before we go on this break. Is it going to be a showdown or no showdown?
If you read what Kwame Agboja and some others have said, it's going to be an interesting day.
Well, sit tight, put your seatbelt on. This is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We go on a quick break, but we will be right back.
Honestly, the cost of dialysis is an impossible burden to carry. Ever since this kidney failure diagnosis, we spend over 1,200 cedis every week. I keep asking if there's no intervention for persons suffering from chronic illnesses in society. Considering all these economic hardships, isn't the government thinking of us? Aren't they? Is the NPP government saying they can't do anything about this? Grandpa, I can't lose you, Grandpa.
A nation that doesn't care for its sick is herself sick. Ama's painful story is one of what many Ghanaians are going through today. But there is hope for Ghanaians under the next NDC government. John Mahama will create the Mahama Cares Fund to support the cost of treatment of people suffering chronic illnesses such as kidney failure, cancer, diabetes, sickle cell, hypertension, and other heart diseases. Ghanaians can access free healthcare at CHIPS compounds, health centers, clinics, and polyclinics, whether or not they have NHIS cards. These interventions will be major sources of relief for the millions of Ghanaians who are suffering from these chronic diseases and are often left to their own fates. Indeed, Mahama cares. Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
The luckiest
star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah.
Here's to the friends who dialed star 712 hash and found no regrets. To the investors who struck gold. To the health workers who diagnosed luck with precision. To the tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. To the passionate fan who couldn't contain his joy. To the seamstress who turned her hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now, here's to you. Your next big win is right here.
Luck is everywhere for everyone.
Dial star 712 hash. Now join in the luckiest winning celebration. Every 1st July 2024. Over dial star 712 hash. Now I can to tickets as a group, individual, and now even as a community. Now when is the car prizes are in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Now join in the winning streak now.
The luckiest
star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Wafa, send us money to take care of your nephews. Now they are back from school.
Last month, I sent you guys money. What happened to all that?
Wafa, the challenges with the free SHS has taken all the money. I sent the boys money weekly to buy food to eat because of the feeding challenges confronting their school. Aside that, they are back in the house on vacation due to the double-track traffic light system. And now I have to look for money to enroll them in private classes.
Baba, I understand your frustrations. Thankfully, the next NDC government under John Mahama will maintain and improve the free SHS program to make it work.
How will that be done?
The double-track system will be abolished. A dedicated source of funding will be provided. Private SHS will be added.
Wow.
Food procurement will be decentralized and the quality of learning outcomes improved.
This will be a huge relief for us as parents and even for our wards in senior high school.
Exactly. That is why you must tell your friends to vote for the Mahama-led NDC come December 7th.
Wafa, no shaking cry. We have already advised ourselves. Who doesn't want quality?
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
92.7.
Imagine a place where voices matter, where every corner, every street, every community is a platform.
A big bus moving through Accra, carrying conversations, questions, and the pulse of the nation. This is not just another show, it's your voice on the move.
Join us as 3FM Sunrise hits the road, turning ordinary streets into platforms for extraordinary dialogue. Speak freely, listen deeply, and help shape the conversation that drives Ghana forward.
Look out for the bus and tune in exclusively on 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio.
The most comprehensive election coverage.
Top-notch presenters and well-versed analysts.
Dedicated reporters and correspondents in every nook and cranny across the country.
All the action, every incident reported. All the big stories covered.
All facts cross-checked. Every figure verified.
Every vote monitored and accounted for.
The numbers tallied, analyzed, and interpreted.
We have invested time and energy in order to bring you a comprehensive elections coverage.
The whole world will be watching us on TV, online, and radio.
Election Command Center. Facts, analysis, results.
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3FM.
One day he would tell the AG his peace of mind very, very soon. But first, listen to him declaring 4 seats vacant in Parliament.
Honorable members, it is important to point out that the Speaker is called upon by the standing orders of Parliament, particularly Order 18, to inform the House of the occurrence of a vacancy of the seat of a member under Clause 1B to E, G, and H of Article 97 of the Constitution. Accordingly,
the best in the morning is on 92.7
that by the notification of the polls, the following members of Parliament have by their actions vacated their seats in Parliament. The members are Honorable Peter Yao Kwache Aka, NDC MP for Amenfi Central in the Western Region, now referred to as an independent parliamentary candidate for the same constituency. 2, Honorable Andrew Amwako Asiama, independent member for Fomna constituency in Ashanti region, now referred to as MPP parliamentary candidate for the constituency. 3, Honorable Kujo Asante, MPP MP for Suhum in the Eastern region, now referred to as independent candidate for the same constituency. And finally, Honorable Cynthia Mamile Morrison, MPP MP for Agona West constituency in the Central region, now referred to as independent candidate for the same constituency. These MPs cannot be allowed by law and my good self to continue to pretend to be representing people that they don't believe in and they don't have any loyalty for
92.7
in this house any longer. The House is accordingly so informed. Honorable members, I thank you for your patience and attention.
The best in the morning.
So this was what started the whole controversy, and that we have not finished dealing with the controversy, have we, Helen?
Absolutely
not. We have not finished
We're
dealing with the controversy, and a small controversy comes. A lot more controversy coming your way.
And a carpet in between them. And so when you are shifting your political lineage, you have to cross that carpet to the other side. And that is why you have the term carpet crossing. parliament is not arranged in the form of government and opposition. And Ghana don't like the term opposition. So we decided to adopt the terms from the United States of America, majority and minority.
The best in the morning.
So you can even sit anywhere.
92.7.
But the numbers determine who is majority and who is minority. But in our parliament, the practice is for those who constitute majority to sit at the right side of the speaker, and those who constitute minority to sit at the left side of the speaker. That is because after independence in 1957, we adopted the Westminster system, which is practiced in the United Kingdom. But we changed that, even to the extent that the arrangement on the floor of the House is in a horseshoe.
The best in the
So it's not always the case
92.7
that the people to the left side are all members of minority. That's not the case now. And there's good reason behind this. As in the textbooks. The determination, therefore, in our situation, as to who constitute majority or minority, is a question of numbers.
Sunrise on 3FM.
As to where they sit, is the determination first of the political parties who influence who should lead the caucus or party wing in parliament. They, after various consultations, decide that these 5 people should occupy these positions in leadership.
As Speaker Bagbin, it's 8:30. Sammy Obeng is joining us, Parliamentary Network Africa. Sammy, good morning. Thank you for your time. We're grateful.
Good morning, Johnny. Thanks for having me.
So yesterday, I'm sure that you monitored what the Speaker told the press in trying to ventilate his side of the story and to stamp his authority and insist that Parliament should not be gagged or attacked. Was it in good taste?
Well, first of all, I think that it was important that Mr. Speaker held the presser. Usually, parliamentary debates, parliamentary conversations takes place in the chamber where, you know, the key players and actors are the MPs and the members of parliament. And so you and I do not get the opportunity to ask the questions that are bothering our minds and what have you. And so a platform like this is in furtherance with opening up parliament, and for an organization, Parliamentary Network Africa, that, you know, advocates parliamentary openness. This was an important event. Now, as to whether the event was able to deal with all of the objectives that were set by Parliament, or the kinds of things that Ghanaians would have wanted to see come out of a meeting like that, is another conversation. I think that Parliament, or Mr. Speaker, sought to do a few things. Number one, and this is my own, you know, appreciation of the situation. Number one, Mr. Speaker sought to calm the nation somewhat by giving the indication that we are not at loggerheads. You know, this is not a do-or-die situation. The country is not going to collapse on the back of these things. Let's keep calm, and we have what it takes by our institutional arrangements to deal with such matters. And so that assurance or reassurance was necessary to be able to calm the nerves down, seeing what has happened in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks in Parliament. The Speaker also used the opportunity to assess the true and proper place of the legislative arm as a co-equal branch of government, which is not subservient to the executive branch, and sought to send a signal to all the other arms that they cannot treat the legislature as a co-equal branch. They cannot treat the legislature as a subservient branch. And I think that any speaker will do the same. any proper legislator will do same in wanting to show that, look, we are triplets. You know, the arms of government are triplets. They're not senior brother, next brother, and next brother or next sister. You get my point. And so every true and proper legislator will do that in trying to assess the proper place of the legislature in the governance and democratic architecture. Even those of us who are in civil society, who work directly within that particular space. I mean, I am a proponent for strong legislatures.
Right.
You know, if governance and democracy will have to play out. So he succeeded somewhat in doing that. The speaker also, I saw, tried to use the opportunity to make some compelling arguments on which I'm sure he hoped that the Supreme Court and the justices there would have listened, and that could perhaps speak to their conscience in making that November 11th ruling eventually.
Right.
But yes, the speaker also ventured into some very, very controversial spaces in his presser yesterday, including the declaration that he thinks that the executive and judiciary are in collusion towards bringing the legislature down. Whereas some of these things may be a subject of public perception, to have the Speaker of a country's parliament, you know, put a seal of confirmation to an issue that is within the public domain as perception was quite, in my opinion, wild.
I see. Now, the Speaker of Parliament yesterday in his presser also said that, look, he would tell the Attorney General his peace of mind in the coming days, very soon. That sounded like hot fire.
It sounded like it, but of course, I'm sure the Speaker and the Attorney General have conversations quite regularly on matters relating to even legislative proposals that comes to Parliament. You know, the involvement of the Attorney General in the legislative business in Parliament and what have you. But yes, on a matter as important as whether the Speaker has or Parliament has committed a crime by going against a PPA declaration in hiring a lawyer, and the Speaker's own argument or against that particular subject matter, you really do not expect that a conversation among them on the subject will be held in a manner that would not involve people telling people their pieces of mind.
The precursor to Parliament reconvening today after the Speaker had adjourned Synodine is that presser. What do you expect to happen in Parliament today? We have seen people sitting on laps, we've seen people taking their positions and to convince themselves whether they are majority or minority. We've seen people being bussed, and blocked to Parliament. What do you hope to see today?
Johnny, you see, the man who holds the balance in Parliament, the Speaker himself, when this same question was asked to him yesterday, said he did not know what to expect. In fact, I find myself in a similar situation, if not even in a worse situation than the Speaker, because we really, really do not know what to expect, especially from these our parliamentarians who, unfortunately, despite all of their beautiful work that they have done in the last 4 years in many areas, and for those of us who watch Parliament, we know how this Parliament has done some amazing work. They sometimes leave some of these minor issues to derail all of their efforts. And with this 8th Parliament, it will be difficult to expect anything. I mean, a Parliament that started off with what they started off with on the 7th of January 2021, which has been a blot on their conscience, by the way, and they have failed, all of them, together with my very good senior friend, the Right Honourable Speaker, failed to deal with the matter head on, or punish people who were culpable on that particular subject. And we are just about 2 months away from 4 years of that issue happening.
Right.
In a school where students who have misbehaved in the past have not been dealt with, it is very difficult to estimate what will happen in that particular school when there are signs of misbehavior showing on the wall. So I really do not know what to expect, except to say that the people of Ghana really are fed up with Parliament and parliamentarians taking them for granted and putting party at the top against national interest.
Right.
And both sides of the aisle, the NPP side, the NDC side, and the minority, have a responsibility in ensuring that they put Ghana first.
Right.
It will be completely disappointing to have today's sitting take place and have signs of the things that happened 2 weeks ago. It will show a parliament that has not learned, a parliament that is not reaching out to each other, a parliament that is being overly partisan rather than seeking national interest. And that will not be a good passing message that the parliament will be leaving, even as its tenure is just 2 months away from expiry.
The Speaker of Parliament yesterday said he wants to leave Parliament stronger. He wants Parliament that he bequeathed to the nation as the eighth Speaker, as the Speaker of the eighth Parliament, to be strong enough. But is he doing enough to keep that promise and pledge?
Yesterday, I think Mr. Speaker was very candid in expressing to the nation some of the challenges that he has faced as Speaker, presiding over this very unique, unprecedented kind of Parliament. And I dare say, as a watcher of Parliament, that if we did not have the likes of Speaker Babin leading this eighth Parliament, things would have been worse. The experience of Speaker Babin in Parliament has really, really, really been of help to this eighth Parliament, because if we had a Speaker who did not understand Parliament, the processes and practices, procedures, did not have the experience of having been in both majority and minority and in leadership over the years like Speaker Babin has, we probably would have ended up in a situation where things would have gone out of hand. And so, in all intents and purposes, Speaker Babin will be leaving the Parliament of Ghana stronger than he met it, having added a layer from where his forebears also left it. And that is the more reason why these next 2 months must be used to deal with all of the issues that hitherto had been a blot on the conscience of the current Parliament. And in dealing with all of those issues, dealing with them decisively, so that the records will speak in his favor, going into the future. The issues of January 7th, Ohaha 2021, the issues of even the unfinished business of the 4 MPs who were taken to the Privileges Committee for having missed Parliament for a number of days, the issues of discipline or the lack of it in Parliament, and all of those matters. There must be some decisiveness. When I say decisiveness, I mean some communication even to the public on where we have gotten to on that particular matter, on those matters, and why we could not solve them, or why we are where we are, so that the records will capture that, so that we will not blame him and his eighth Parliament for pussyfooting around issues that needed to be dealt with head on. But yes, he probably would leave the eighth Parliament better off than he met it, if some of these things are dealt with. And so far, I think that he has been an important addition to this eighth Parliament, considering the dynamics of the Parliament. Yes.
Sammy Obeng, Executive Director of Parliamentary Network Africa, I'm grateful for your time this morning. Thank you so much.
My pleasure always, Johnny.
And it's 42 minutes after 8. Franklin Kujo is the founding president and chief executive officer of Imani Center for Policy and Education. Franklin, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, John. How are you?
I am greater than Accra. So I've been following your posts, and this whole controversy in Parliament, which went to the court, you have had cause to raise concerns. Professor Ransford Jampo is with you on that score. That why are we more concerned about 4 MPs 2 months or so to an election who will not have the benefit of representing their people, much more than a whole constituency that has not had representation for almost 4 years. And I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Have you been able to wrap your head around it?
Well, it speaks to what I call the judicial chicanery and outright disrespect for people, no matter where they come from. I mean, even if they were a minority. As you realize, it should become clear to everybody now that this whole thing was a deliberate conspiracy between the executive and now if you add the judiciary as well. They were plain involved. If I tell you the frustrations we went through trying to get this case started, the loss of our suit, if I the transfer of a registrar who was helping us to catch those who were transferring our docket, and all of those kinds of things. Before we get the Supreme Court callously and unanimously rejected and discarded us like flies, saying that we should go to whole High Court and fight the case.
Right.
So at that level, we thought that, okay, well, it was a process issue, it was an election-related matter, so why not? Even though we had come to them to say that, look, our rights have already been violated because we're not even allowed to vote. It's not as if we were allowed to vote and then BBC, something happened, so we are seeking some restitution. No, we were actually discarded. So when we were told to go back to the Supreme Court, we're like, oh, but the Supreme Court is the final arbiter. They have the power to say, that these are extraordinary circumstances. What is more extraordinary than being not being allowed to vote? But the level of deep hypocrisy and outright insult and disrespect shown by the Chief Justice and the cohort was quite frankly annoying to sit and be listening when she blurted out that people's rights have been figured. Oh, I agree. Look, I'll forever support anybody who feels that it's right, even for one day, it's been violated.
Right.
But I cannot stand when it is coming from that citadel, a citadel of just chicanery that conspired and discarded us like flies. I mean, that's why I was hurt. Because I was like, what is this nonsense emanating from the supposedly place of justice? It was too much to bear. It was so painful to hear and bear that type of thing. So for me, that's where my issues lie. I don't have any quarrel with anybody who starts a process. Of course, the annoying bit also was that if I to think that my good friend Antonio Martin secured this so-called ruling to stay the Speaker's ruling in a very, she called it cheaply. That was how cheap the process was procured on the blind side of everybody. When we went frontal, we were thrown out like that. So, my brother, I think when the Speaker back says the judiciary and the executive are conspired to undermine the Parliament, it is so true. It is a perfect classic example. If it were not true, they wouldn't have conspired to prevent us from bringing the case to court. And you know what happened after 3 years of going to the High Court in home?
Right.
The judge after he said, oh, he had no jurisdiction. Can you imagine? So Chikata says, okay, let's go back to Supreme Court. I said, Chikata, is it worth it? There's a gangster system at play. Don't you realize? It's a gangster system. You go here, they throw you here. You throw here. It's not even pretty. What is being done is not even pretty. They're not even pretending. As for Sam, I'll talk against anybody should invite me, and I'll say the same thing to their faces. That they were hypocritical, disrespectful, and outrightly dejected us.
How do the people of SAL, I mean, I'm sure you touch base with them every now and then, how do they feel about the fact that you went to the higher court, you were told to go to start from the bottom at the high court, you went there, and after 3 years the judge says, oh, I don't have jurisdiction, that's it. How do they feel about the situation?
Oh, well, Johnny, as you realize, the fact at some point some of my elders were saying, oh, it appears maybe they don't want us to be part of Ghana. Maybe we should find a way of getting us to this place. I don't know. People felt like, okay, well, it won't happen. In fact, one of the traditional leaders was like, hey, so Kujo, do you think this would have happened in Ashanti region or Isi region? And then people will keep quiet that this really happened? And I said, well, unfortunately, that's the situation. It will never have happened anyway. They wouldn't even consider the thought. So, my brother, it is what it is. These guys are bandits. They are terrorists. They are plunderers. They can destroy the economy. They are destroying everything. They destroy your rivers. Now they even want to take out the little freedom you have. What is this? You know what? The other part that annoys me, Johnny, is that these pampered MPs, and that's one of the things I spoke about then, these MPP, so maybe political parties' internal issues.
Right.
How dare these people, you go for an election, you lose. They say, you don't want to continue the thing, so you want to go independent. And then they allow you to go through, and then they bless it, judiciary bless it and say, oh, the people's rights will be fundamentally obliterated, so they should stay. This is complete nonsense, my brother. Very nonsensical. Sorry.
Franklin, I want to thank you for your time. We're grateful.
It's a pleasure, my brother.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's Franklin Kujo of Imani, Africa. There, Helen, are you opening your eyes?
Franklin didn't hold back this morning. Yes.
It's pained.
See, and we talked about that. The optics of it all.
Yeah.
The optics of it all. Who deserves representation and who doesn't?
Who doesn't deserve representation?
The optics don't look good. That I cannot shy away from.
We need to, as a country, be fair to everybody. We need to, as a country, be fair to everybody. And that's all I think the likes of Professor Ransford Jampo, Franklin Kujo are asking for.
Yeah.
Fairness. In terms of, everybody has a right to be represented in Parliament. The people of Santo Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lulubi, as we speak, do not have a representation.
That's right.
And that's not good. That's not good. That's not good at all. Anyway.
Constitutional crisis in this country. I repeat, there is no constitutional crisis in this country. The Parliament of Ghana is alive and working.
FM 92.7.
Let nobody mislead, misinform, or disinform you and the country. The democratic system we adopted and enacted, as captured in the Constitution 1992 and fleshed out in various laws, processes, procedures, and practices, is what has been triggered, and it is working. Let us allow it to work. Democracy is about the rule of law. Let the law work. The democratic system we adopted and enacted recognizes that in the course of operationalizing the system, disagreements will occur and challenges and problems will arise. The system has put in place mechanisms, structures and institutions, processes, procedures and rules to follow and apply to resolve the disagreement, convert the challenges into opportunities, and provide solutions to the problems. This is what is being pursued and applied. There is no constitutional crisis in the country.
92.7 Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
The most comprehensive election coverage.
Top-notch presenters and well-versed analysts.
And has always been hesitant to interfere. Happenings in Parliament must remain in Parliament. So the cause must, and has always been, hesitant to interfere in the proceedings and decisions of Parliament. Consistency is not just an ideal, but the foundation of life. The court cannot enjoin 4 members of Parliament from serving their constituents for 12 weeks, but was very eager to deny the constituents of Asen North their representation because of the issue of allegiance. The court
cannot deny the constituents of SAL the sanctity of representation for years.
And that was Speaker Bagbein there. Noble Crosby Annan is in Parliament representing us. We will connect with him and find out what exactly is happening in Parliament, but I'll be right after these messages.
The most comprehensive election coverage.
Top-notch presenters and well-versed analysts.
Dedicated reporters and correspondents in every nook and cranny across the country.
All the action, every incident reported. All the big stories covered.
All facts cross-checked. Every figure verified.
Every vote monitored and accounted for.
The numbers tallied, analyzed, and interpreted.
We have invested time and energy in order to bring you a comprehensive elections coverage.
The whole world will be watching us on TV, online, and radio.
Election Command Center. Facts, analysis, results.
Imagine a place where voices matter, where every corner, every street, every community is a platform.
92.7.
A big bus moving through Accra, carrying conversations, questions, and the pulse of the nation. This is not just another show, it's your voice on the move.
Join us as 3FM Sunrise hits the road, turning ordinary streets into platforms for extraordinary dialogue. Speak freely, listen deeply, and help shape the conversation that drives Ghana forward.
Look out for the bus and tune in exclusively on 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio.
The most comprehensive election coverage.
Top-notch presenters and well-versed analysts.
Dedicated reporters and correspondents in every nook and cranny across the country.
All the action, every incident reported. All the big stories covered.
All facts cross-checked. Every figure verified.
Every vote monitored and accounted for.
The numbers tallied, analyzed, and interpreted.
We have invested time and energy in order to bring you a comprehensive elections coverage.
The whole world will be watching us on TV, online, and radio.
Election Command Center. Facts, analysis, results.
And you're welcome back. This is Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. I'll work the phone lines to get Noble Crosby Annan on the phone line. We will connect with Mr. Ebenezer Nimaku Nyaku. He is with EN Analytics and Consultancy Company Limited, and he is a data scientist joining us here today. We told you we'll do some projections to let you know if your MP is winning or losing, if your party is safe in that constituency or not. Ebenezer, welcome. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Yes.
How are you too?
I'm greater than Accra.
Yes,
I'm tired, but we day.
Yeah, that's right.
So today is the big day.
Exactly.
You're coming to scare people.
No. I'm here to let people know what is likely to happen.
Right.
Yeah. So my background is statistics. So
right.
Modeling is part of.
You play with the figures.
Exactly. That's part of what I do.
Right. Now, how many constituencies are we looking at?
It was for the entire country, but we'll focus on Greater Accra.
Greater Accra.
Okay, so I will just give 2-minute overview of what the national picture is.
Right.
Okay, so nationally, going into the 2024 elections, when it comes to parliamentary elections, we are saying that the NPP has 67 seats that are considered solid seats.
Wow.
For that one...
Nationally.
That
belong to them.
They
will win it at any day, any election.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then they have 20 seats that are, we call, likely NPP.
Okay.
It means that they have a probability of 60%
right.
of winning.
All right.
But they will most likely win those seats.
Okay.
And then we have toss-up plus NPP. When you say toss-up plus NPP, it means that it's going to be very competitive,
right?
But NPP will scale through marginally with about 1 or 2 points. They will be able to win that constituency.
Wow.
So in all, the NPP has 96 seats.
Okay.
That are considered safe.
Right. For them. Okay.
Going into 2024 elections.
Right.
Okay. And mostly they have this high number of seats because of Ashanti region. Ashanti region gives them that automatic buffer.
Right.
Okay. So even before they start, they have about 40 seats, which I mean is already in the bank. So that is what makes their number of safe seats very higher than the NDC. On the other hand, the NDC in total has 82 seats.
Okay. So it means that the MPP has an upper hand in terms of the seats that are safe for them.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay. And out of these 82, 39 are solid seats.
Okay.
Okay. They will win at all costs.
That's less than the MPP's 66 seats.
Exactly. Because MPP, because of the Ashanti factor.
Right.
Okay. Then they have 32 seats that it's likely NDC.
Okay.
Which means that they have 60% chance of winning.
Right.
And then they have 11 seats that we call toss-up plus NDC, which means they're going to be very competitive, but NDC is likely to sail through, but 1 or 2 percentage points.
That's the national overview. Let's cross over now to Parliament, sorry about that, and connect with Noble Crosby. And he's in Parliament. Noble, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Johnny. Good to be on the line.
Has the showdown begun in Parliament?
Not yet, Johnny. Not yet. Well, you could say that something's sort of a showdown because, once again, the NDC caucus in Parliament, they have gone to occupy the right-hand side of the speaker, signifying the majority side of the speaker. You know that per convention or per practice in the Parliament of Ghana, the majority group or the majority caucus, they sit on the right-hand side of the speaker. The minority sit on the left-hand side of the speaker. As I speak with you, I see the leadership of the minority of the NDC, now majority, of course. I'm talking about Ato Forcing, Emmanuel Makofi-Boa, Kwame Abuja governors, as well as a handful of MPs that can count roughly about 13 members of parliament belonging to the NDC who have gone to occupy the right-hand side of the speaker. I can also tell you that the left side of the speaker, I'm talking about the position or the place that the minority will occupy, it is very empty and very quiet. But so far, nothing has happened yet. We expect proceedings to begin somewhere around 10, but as early as 9 o'clock, 8:30, even around 8 o'clock, some NDP MPs had arrived and have begun occupying the right-hand side of the speaker, emphasizing their position as the majority in Ghana's parliament.
Well, unlike what we saw when the election of the speaker had to happen, we are not seeing the NDC clad in white apparels, but I've seen Honorable Gakpe clad in a national flag on the floor of Parliament. What could have informed that? Do you know?
You know, Ronnie, there's still the thinking that the NPP side of the House may come and may want to occupy the right side of the speaker because they still insist that they are majority in Parliament, coming on the back of the Supreme Court's ruling. So they may want to occupy the right-hand side of the speaker, a place that the NDC will not be willing to give up easily or will not be willing to give up at all. So maybe that is informing his decision to clad himself in the colors of the national flag. But apart from him, everybody else is wearing something very usual of them. It's a regular day for them because, according to them, they have known that they are being the majority since the Speaker made the declaration the last 2 times that Parliament was sitting. So nothing has changed for them. It's just business as usual for them. They are just hoping that the right time will come for the House to reconvene. The Speaker will take his seat, and then the proceedings of the day will be expected to begin. That is, if there will be enough numbers to form a quorum or take important decisions, Johnny.
I know that Parliament has been moved to the Accra International Conference Centre, the Grand Arena, and so ordinarily you wouldn't find MPs coming out of their offices because their offices will be far off. But have you spotted any of the NPP MPs around?
Unfortunately, Jody, I've not spotted any of the NPP MPs yet. You know that where Parliament is now sitting at the conference center, at the dome of the conference center. We've not spotted any NPP MP around, no leader of the NPP around. But this is largely expected because the last time that the NPP group addressed the media, Marking made it very clear that they will not occupy the left side of the speaker. They will not occupy the minority side of the House. And then until the case is determined by the court, they are boycotting Parliament. So maybe that is why they have not been here. But if you go to main Parliament, I'm talking about where the legislative arm of government is expected to be stationed. We expect and we know that some of them, those who are early birds, some are in their office doing regular office duties as an MP, maybe, and some are also engaging with their constituents because elections are coming, campaign periods and all of that. But at the dome of the International Conference Center, the makeshift Parliament, no NPP MP is here yet.
What form of security do you have around the place? The last time we had such a face-off, we had the military showing presence on the chamber or in the chamber of Parliament. What do you see, or can you share?
Well, today is very different, Johnny. So we only see the marshals present. We do not see any military presence yet, and I speak with you. In the chamber, there's no military presence. I'm walking outside to check if maybe some military presence are beginning to trooping, but no military, no army. So I've only seen marshals and police officers. The ambulance is here. The National Fire Service is also represented here. That is me talking to you from outside right now, and some MPs are, having chit-chats here and there. But no military presence, security presence is not even at half of what it was before the Speaker adjourned the House Synod.
Now, have you seen the order paper? Usually the business of the House, the business committee will look at it. In fact, that will be led by the majority dictating, what business should be tabled. Have you seen the order paper?
Well, Johnny, the order paper we're yet to see it yet, but it will be made available shortly. But what we expect to happen today is coming as a result of the last sitting of Parliament, where sitting could not hold because the Speaker ruled that the House did not have quorum to make decisions. We're expecting some key bills to continue at various stages. For instance, the second reading of the Ghana Boundary Commission Bill 2023. If the Speaker comes and then he finds it enough to conduct business, it is likely to be considered. We also see that expecting the second reading of the the Social Protection Bill 2023. We also expect the third reading of these bills, the Environmental Protection Bill 2024. And I should tell you that is different from this controversial LI we're talking about in the country. We also expect the third reading of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2024. Now, these bills are also at the consideration stage. So we're expecting that if all goes well, these bills will be considered. I'm talking about the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2021 and the Ghana Boundary Commission Bill 2023. So these are some of the bills that are at various stages, second reading, third reading, and consideration stage, that may be dealt with as part of Parliament's business or government business. That is, if the Speaker comes and the NPP members in Parliament decide to join the House, and if the Speaker decides that they will still be able to make decisions for the country. But let me also remind you that yesterday the Speaker was concerned about the presence of the absence of the MPP, if you like. So, responding to concerns that he should not have adjourned the House in a day, he was saying that the MPP members decided to boycott the House. So, for those or walk out. For the NDC members, they did not have enough numbers to make a decision. So even if they had gone ahead to make any decision, the NPP group in the House would have raised objections as to the credibility of the decision based on the numbers that are needed in Parliament to to make decisions, and that is what I'm talking about, the quorum here, Johnny.
Now, party people, have you seen some party persons there clad in party paraphernalia?
You know, Johnny, it reminds me of the last time that Parliament was sitting before the adjournment day. You know that on that day, a lot of supporters of the MPP, specifically from Insawam, the constituency of Frank Anodon, one of the leaders of the
chief whip
MPP
for the
side of the House. Exactly. So they swarmed up in Parliament. They came in their numbers. The main Parliament, they were at the gate. I'm not talking about the conference center, though, but there were a lot of them at the main Parliament House, and, if you like, giving their party a lot of moral support. But today it is very different. We do not see any party supporter here, of course, unless the observers who have gathered in Parliament to observe proceedings in the House. Supporters of the NPP or the NDC are not here, unlike what was the situation before the Speaker adjourned the House today. Maybe when the NPP decides to come, or if the NPP decide to come, maybe they will come with their supporters, just like wasn't the case the last time that the House was adjourned by the Speaker.
How have the MPs been reacting to the Speaker's presser yesterday?
Of course, for the NDC side, the now majority side of the House, they are very, very pleased. They think that the Speaker has been spot on. The Speaker has been resolute in its stance. The Speaker is putting the executive and the judiciary at their rightful place. They are very happy with the development over the past few weeks or few months, if you like. They think the Speaker has not made any mistake, and they are expecting the NPP side, the minority caucus, to accept the ruling of the Speaker, to accept that according to Parliament standing orders, according to the Speaker of Parliament, who is the father of the House, this is how the House wants to move forward. And so they should accept, come to Parliament, do government business, and help move the country forward. So for the NDC group, I mean, this is regular business as usual. For the NPP, however, they are still insisting that the Speaker is fundamentally wrong. They are supporting or relying on the ruling from the Supreme Court that declared the Speaker's objection or the Speaker's declaration of the 4 seats as vacant as inappropriate.
Noble Crosby Annan, I thank you very much for your update this morning. Grateful.
Thank you, John.
And we'll take a break. I will return from this break. Ebenezer Nimakunyaku is coming to let you know whether your constituency and your preferred party is winning or possibly going to lose or likely to win or whatever it is. We would let you know here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm saying that Ghana must not introduce free SHS